Hey Art Appreciation Online, this is your instructor Melissa, and I have an update I want to share with you about what's going on for the remainder of the semester, which is about 4.5 weeks at this point. So let's take a look. Okay, so a couple things. If we go to the calendar, which of course you can find in our course website by clicking calendar, I always like to open it in a new window, by the way, just so that I don't, or tab, so that I don't have to lose the regular course in its own tab. So if you go to our calendar and you make sure that your course is selected and maybe only that course to make everything simple, you'll notice that we have coming up on the 14th, just 2 days from now, the review for Exam 3 opens, which means Exam 3 is next week, the 18th through the 20th. Again, I want to remind everybody just to be sure to use those reviews to study. It's pretty clear when I grade that some people have not used the reviews or have not maybe spent the time studying from those reviews. So just to let you know, that is, it's there for your use, and if you don't open them and view them, they can't help you. So please do. Then if we take a look down, okay, that looks normal. Well, let's take a look at May. What's going on in May? Well, actually the course ends in May, right? Actually, we only have about 4.5 weeks left. And you'll notice that during that last week of classes, which is actually May 12th through the 18th, is finals week. Finals week is weird in the spring. In the spring at Black Hawk College, finals week begins on a Thursday and ends on a Wednesday, and then graduation is Thursday the 19th. Not sure exactly why they do that, but it's how they've been doing it for a long time. So that's just a preview that that's coming up. But something you want to think about that's due that last week is the museum visit paper. Okay, so even though that's not due till May 15th, of course you want to get that done as soon as you can because it involves going to a museum. You're going to need to schedule time to do that. So it's something you should be thinking about now if you haven't already. So we could click that to go to the assignment, or we could just go to it in assignments, making sure that we arrange them by type so we can see our papers at the top. So if you click Arrange by Type in Student View, you'll see papers. We've already got our gallery experience done, so let's take a look at the museum visit. Well, it looks something like this, right? So with the museum visit, it's similar to the gallery experience, but it is not identical. You should not just do what you did for your gallery experience paper, but in a museum. You should read the museum visit prompt, and you see it has its own instructions, and they are different from the gallery experience. So keep that in mind right away. Okay, so the museum visit obviously has to be a museum rather than a gallery. And the idea is that you get this experience in a different kind of venue than you did for your first paper. So I've selected the Figge Art Museum for you because it is the closest art museum. It's the easiest for you to get to, at least for most of you. Now, for some of you who may live out of town, you may choose a different museum, and that's okay, just like with the gallery. But remember, you need to get it cleared through me first. Okay, so that needs to be done sooner rather than later. All right, with that in mind, let's assume you're going to the Figge Art Museum. These are going to be the instructions that apply to you. Let's see, we have our format, 1.5 to 2 pages. That means more than one page. Please pay close attention to length. Last time I got 1 or 2 papers that were actually less than a page. If that applies to you for the second paper, you will probably just get a 0 rather than partial points. So it needs to be 1.5 pages or 2. Okay, regular typed, double spaced margins, etc. So your objective is to write an essay about your visit. So that involves going there and spending some time so that you can have something to write about. Like with the gallery experience, there are numbers and bullet points. Those are just for you. When you turn in a paper, it should be in an essay format with an introduction and concluding paragraph, and separate paragraphs for separate topics or kind of natural breaks in the topics. Do not include numbers or paragraphs. Again, that will involve a downgrade of your grade. So the instructions say visit the museum. It tells you a little bit about the visit. For example, that Thursdays the museum's open until 9. It tells you that it's closed on Sunday. Monday. It's closed on Monday. Like most museums, for some reason across the world, museums are closed on Mondays, but it is open on Sunday actually. So view those carefully. Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 5. Sundays, 12 to 5. Thursday, it's actually open until 9 most of the time, but you always want to double check. Report on your experience, perspective of a person educated in art appreciation. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean, please don't in your paper say, well, I don't know anything about art. I'm just, remarking on things I'm seeing. You do know something about art. At least you should be by this point, and you should go there with that in mind, that you are an educated person in art. You are not just your average person going to the museum anymore. Believe it or not, you are a person with more knowledge than the vast majority of people that will enter that museum. So keep that in mind. You're expected to bring an educated point of view. Explore the entire museum. Record your thoughts. Record what you observe. Okay, and by record I mean include in your notes and also include in your paper. Okay, include in your paper what you're seeing, things that you're observing, ideas that you have. Talk about your experience. Right. One thing you might want to do is refer to the discussion of purpose of museum. Now it says in your course notes packet that's incorrect. What we're talking about is actually module 3 or unit 3 on venues. Okay, so unit 2. It's the unit on venues. So go back to the modules place, look for the unit on venues, check out what are the purposes of museums, and review that. Let's just edit that right now while I'm talking to you. It says course notes packet, probably because it's originally for a face-to-face class. Unit on venues. All right. All right. So that will really help if you're looking for, what exactly am I going to talk about with regard to this museum other than my own observations? You can easily go back to the unit on the venues and find some interesting things to talk about. What does the museum do? What does the Figure Art Museum do? Spend some quality time finally in a special exhibit. Okay, so this doesn't have to be the last part of your paper. It just is the last part of the prompt. You can include this anywhere. There's a few special exhibits going on right now. There's Clay, Traditions and Shards, Cameo Stones, and the Rock Island Art Guild Fine Arts Exhibition. Those are the 3 I've selected. So you really need to include a narrative describing the special exhibit. And it does ask you if you want to find a particular piece to talk about. That's great. Talk about the exhibit overall. There needs to be something about one of these 3 special exhibits, okay, in order for your paper to get a good grade. All right, so again, don't forget, please, an intro and conclusion for this paper. And you're going to turn it in like you turned in your gallery visit piece. You're going to turn it in online through the tool in Canvas. All right, I think that that's it for this week. It's nice to speak to you again. If you have any questions, please let me know. Have a great week.